You know, as bank fishermen, like unlike the boats and the kayaks, we don't have fish finders and we don't have sonar. So we need every advantage we can get. And we sure don't have live scope. So in my last video that I put out, I told you guys I was working on something. It's top secret. Shh. And well, maybe it's not exactly top secret. It's actually been done many times in the past, especially if you fish out of a boat or a kayak. But what I did is I created fish attractors from my bank fishing spots. And that's something that just doesn't get talked about, is bank fishermen creating fish attractors for their spots. I mean, as you bank fish, your real estate is limited, and even if it's not limited, like you have 2,000 miles of shoreline, there's really only so far that I can walk in a day and fish. So you want to make your spots that you're going to fish as productive as possible. Last summer I was walking through a remote area and I saw this man on the shoreline, and it's just highly unusual because hardly anybody out here bank fishes. They're all in a boat or a kayak, mainly boats. And so as I'm getting closer to this man, I see that he's piling rocks. I mean, it looks like he's doing a grave. It looks like a grave, but he's on the bank. And so, you know, it's time to unbutton the coat and make sure, you know, you're within reach, right? Because it's kind of crazy to see a man making this huge grave-like thing out of rocks. And as I got closer, I kind of started to get curious, and he didn't act like, you know, he didn't act crazy or anything, so I kept making my way closer and closer. And when I got it close enough to it, I saw that behind this huge pile of rocks, he had dug this big hole. So anyway, when I saw the hole behind the rock pile, I kind of figured what he was doing. He was building himself a fish attractor. But I had to ask him, and he seemed pretty cool. So I said, hey, what kind of construction project you got going on there? He said, man, I'm building me a fish hole, you know, a honey hole. He said honey hole. I'm building me a honey hole. I said, well, you know, people around here, they normally use like brush. Why don't you use brush piles? He said, man, I got brush piles all over this cove. Keep getting these big gusts. He said, but I live up on top of the hill, and every time I look out the window, them dang glitter boats are sticking their noodles in my brush piles. So I'm gonna make me a little honey hole. I thought it was pretty ingenious. I've never seen such a thing. So, and that's basically how this all started. So on these reservoirs, in the wintertime, you have a winter pool, and then in the summertime, you have a summer pool. And the winter pool is normally lower than the summertime. So winter is really a great time to do this, before the spring rains come. And this year I got lucky that we were actually normal levels instead of 30-foot high. So I started looking for the buckbrush along the shoreline, like nice thick stems, and then piling up rocks and making little honey holes. So I'm making my own honey holes. Now of course we ain't all gonna have the same terrain, but this is really just to put a little light bulb in your head. Just work with the materials you got. If you got brush, use brush. If you got rocks, use rocks. You got both, use both. Here's one I did. This one just went underwater. You can see the stump. I got the rocks on the side. They got a nice little pocket right here. Alright, so here's an example of one I did that's not underwater yet. I just took a tree stump that was already here and cleared out all the rocks, made a nice empty spot, and then put the rocks on the back side. And I can't wait for this to go underwater. Oh, that wind is ripping. So like this one would be a great candidate. See that? See how thick it is? I could just pile rocks on this lump here, and I could cast from the left side or the right side. So there you go. Big old freaking bass can hide up in that sucker. So that's what y'all saw last week in that video where I had everything blurred out. I was checking my honey holes, and I'm about to go check some more honey holes. So let's go. Oh. There you go. Ooh, look at you. Look at you, Mr. Red Lips. 15 3/4. It takes out my 14-incher. There you go. Oh. He's like, not cool, man, not cool. Thought I was getting prodded. You got me wrapped. There we go. Hey, buddy. Ooh. Oh, yeah, no, there's my. You little fatso. You get ready to have some babies. Ooh, that's a chunk, y'all. He's got to be over. Ah, look at that. Yeah, close your mouth, sweetheart. Freaking markings on this one. Alright, mama. We'll have you some babies. Hey, chill, chill. A nice little spot, or I should say a little spot. I wouldn't say nice. Yeah, you're too short to measure, but you're pretty and you're fat. Right. Turd. Oh, don't do that. Oh. Oh, you'll do, my friend. Nice one, y'all. That's a 17 3/4. You got a couple of holes in your nose, my friend. There you go. Go make some babies. There you go. Alright, y'all. So don't go thinking that every little fish attractor is going to hold fish. I've had mine in for 2-3 weeks now, and I'm averaging like 2 out of 6. So for every 6 that you make, you might get 2. But still, I think it's pretty good. And you also got to put them where there are normally fish. Can't just put it in the desert and expect the fish to show up. So it's got to be in a good spot too. And some of my favorite spots are these little drainages. If I can find a bush that's in the beginning of it, I'll put one there. Good spot. Oh y'all, thanks for watching. And if you like bank fishing as much as I do, just click on these videos right here. Tie lines, y'all. Time to go get some supper.